Hello everyone, it's Jamarl Thomas. Welcome to the Progressive Soapbox. There are articles sometimes that are written that are so absurd, so narrative driven, so detached from reality that they must be brought to light and the author must be derided. This is the Gray Lady, the New York Times. Come on down. The moral voice of corporate America. Moral voice. Dave Gillis. The blue-collared plutocrat with a heart of gold. Oh, tell me, New York Times, how have these plutocrats, how have this moral voice been espoused in America? The nation has split into political tribes. The culture wars are back, waged over transgender rights and immigration. White nationalists are on the march. White nationalists are not on the march. I'm sorry, they're not. You don't know what you're talking about. There was a blow up in Charlottesville where a handful of races got together out of 325 million people. You got a few hundred. That number dwindled. There's no march of white supremacists. These aren't culture wars. The war that you're having this conversation about, or that you're trying to obfuscate, is class. The issue is class. The idea, the reason why you have anti-left and anti-right boils down to this issue of class. You're creating a narrative of culture wars. The culture wars are there. If you yourself create a narrative that the culture wars are there, that has nothing to do with actual reality. If you have the conversation with people and you talk about polls and everything else, what comes down is this division and a sense of class. The have and the have-nots. You have half, or not the majority of the country, in poverty. You have one part of the country, 1%, doing immensely well. The issue you have in is class. Amid this turbulent and surprising group of CEOs is testing its moral voice more forcefully than ever. CEOs, I'm sorry, I said that wrong. Amid this turbulence, a surprising group of Americans is testing its moral voice more forcefully than ever. CEOs. After Nazi saluting, white supremacists rioted in Charlottesville, Virginia, and President Trump dithered in his response. A chorus of business leaders rose up this past week to condemn the hate groups and espouse tolerance and inclusion. As lawmakers in Texas tried to restrict the rights of transgender people to use public bathrooms, corporate executives joined activists to kill the bill. These and other actions are part of a broad recasting of the voice of the business in the nation's political and social dialogue, a transformation that has gained momentum in recent years, and as the country has engaged in fraught debates over everything from climate change to healthcare. Surely this is ridiculous. Come on, man. Come on, dog. It's like he's just. I don't know if you've seen this scene. It's in Coming to America. It's an old Eddie Murphy flick. But Eddie Murphy was supposed to be the king of a particular kingdom. And the camera pans into Eddie Murphy's face. He's in a bath. He's like in a jacuzzi. And he just has this look of contemplation on his face. And the woman comes up and says, "The royal balls are washed, sir." That person was David Gillis. The royal balls are washed, sir. Are you telling me what's more likely? The plutocrats, the CEOs, they all of a sudden had a heart. Oh, I don't like what's going on. Or, oh, that's going to adversely affect my business. Which one? Which one you think makes more sense? Oh, this guy's ghastly. He's backing up racists. I'm uncomfortable with this. Yes, I can't do this. You're going to adversely affect my business. I guarantee you, if they thought that what Trump did would in no way adversely affect them, they would still be with Trump because they believe there would be a business interest involved in them being with Trump. This is a sad and pathetic article. This is sad and pathetic. The plutocrats all of a sudden are the moral compass of our nation. As David Thoreau would say, it wasn't the activists who went down to contest them. No, it wasn't them, but the plutocrats, the CEOs who were pressured to leaving because they were so embarrassed and they thought that it would adversely affect their business. That's the moral compass. That's the moral compass. How about the CEO show their moral compass and they take a 50% pay cut and pay their people more? How about that? How about that? That would show a moral compass. That would show that you care about the workers that are under you, that you care about the public. How about you come out for raising taxes and for single-payer health care? How about those things? Those are the things that I care about. I don't care about these guys coming out for self-serving interests and saying, oh, well, Donald Trump is ghastly, he's going to hurt my profits. This article is embarrassing. This article is embarrassing. The narrative that's being created with this idea of, yeah, class has nothing to do with it. It's all about culture. The Nazis are on the march. The racists are everywhere and they're coming to eat your babies. Ugh! Be afraid! And guess who's standing there to protect you? Protect America. It's the brave and noble capitalists. The CEOs. You gotta be kidding me. You gotta be kidding me. The New York Times. Oh man. You have fallen far. You've fallen far and very fast in this administration. I'm going to leave it at that. It just annoyed the shit out of me. Really, the CEOs. Those are the brave and noble fighters. The moral turpitude in our society. You've had progressives screaming at the top of their lungs for single-payer health care. And you've had periodicals like the New York Times, CNN, all these guys going against these progressive causes that would actually help the people in our particular country. But you know who's the good guys in this? The guys who's been standing up to Trump, who's been making a difference. The noble CEO. The noble capitalist. David Gales, everyone. David Gales. David Gales. Good job, David Gales. Good job. The royal testicles are washed, sir. Is there anything else I can wash for you to do on your behalf? It's embarrassing, dude. And it's embarrassing that you're going to write that. You're living in a capitalistic society. I'm going to end it at this because I'm bitching at this point. You have wealth funneled to the top. It's hard to get across how much wealth has been funneled to the top. Bezos is $90 billion, and yet you have millions of people in this country who don't have health care. How about taking half of your wealth and giving it to the rest of the people in the country who actually need health care, who may want to go to school, who have kids, who aren't eating, they don't necessarily have the resources to get a decent meal in the morning before going to school, or the elderly person who doesn't have the money to buy meds. If the noble CEO wants to actually help this country, the noble CEO can cut its salary. That's what the noble CEO can do. Self-servingly leaving a meeting with Donald Trump because Donald Trump is so ghastly and his approval rating got so bad that it may actually adversely affect their business. It's not noble. It's a business decision. Like every other business decision that accrues profit for them. In this particular case, it's a cost-benefit analysis of, we thought it was going to be profitable to interact with the president. We don't think that anymore. I'll leave it at that. This is not noble. This is a business decision. Trying to call it noble like the CEOs are taking a stance is absurd. I'm sorry. It's absurd. It's absurd. I'll leave it at that. Alright guys, if you enjoy the content, feel free to share, write, subscribe, and of course, you can always support the work of the Patreon. Thank you.